Just when you hope what's left of Hamas would make peace with Israel, they announced yesterday that if they have the opportunity, they will do October 7th again. And if they could go back in time, they would do it again and again and again. Don't buy into the peace is possible with Hamas. BS. Here's some news for you, Will, that's bad news. According to the Hamas representative in Lebanon who was just interviewed, he just said, smiling with a big smile on his face, referring to October 7th massacre, quote, "We would do it again. If we could go back in time, we would do it again because the justification still exists." Why am I saying that we would do it again? Because what made us do it is very important and strategic, and on and on and on. The Palestinian cause was about to be eliminated by means of normalizing relations with Israel. So, at any cost, they will forever fight to the death, which is what the Hamas Arabic says on their green banner that they wear around their forehead, to the death. And what I'm referring to on October 7th is the massacre of 1,200 Israeli citizens, men, women, children, and a lot of their animals. I saw in some of the videos of them shooting down the family dogs. Look at the body bags lined up. This is one of the kibbutzim at the border. I think that is Aza. I think that's the Aza.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this photo.
I was invited there by one of the generals to film and record live. And he said, you need to be prepared if you go, because they'd taken the bodies away already, but the smell of death was everywhere. And the blood was everywhere. And they warned me that once you're here, you'll never forget what you've seen. Obviously, I didn't make the trip, but the point being is I've talked to a number of people, including family members of mine that have been there, and they said they'll never forget it. These murderous monsters are saying they would do it again if they had the opportunity. And anyone that tells you we must have peace with Hamas is encouraging another massacre like this, because the people that perpetrated it are not wiped out. They are not gone, and they are promising to do it again. And they're saying they hope they can. That's why Israel has got to finish the job. And Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken and the entire establishment, Jake Sullivan, the entire White House, got to switch sides to Israel, our ally, and not stop the weapons and let Israel finish the job. They're not asking for help. They're not asking for troops. They're not asking for jets to bomb. They're just saying, give us the weapons so we can buy them from you. And even that is too big a deal for Biden to say yes to, because his re-election in Michigan is more important than the survival of Israel.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you, Barry, when Joe Biden went to the White House and Benjamin Netanyahu, he put out his thing out there saying, congratulations to Joe Biden. That irritated me to no end. I did not like the fact that he did that. I understand why he did it, right? Because he's a leader in Israel. He's in his position. He doesn't want to have, bad blood or, bad relations between the leader that, the person that's in the White House. And I get it. But I'm just being honest. I did not like the fact that he congratulated Joe Biden. I wish he would have just not said anything at all. And now look what Joe Biden is doing to Israel. And I said this before. Joe Biden got on an airplane, flew his insane self over to Israel just to say that I'm the first president to ever go to a war zone for the photo op. He went to go look at his work, Barry. You know how they say when criminals show up to the crime scene?
They visit the scene of the crime, you mean?
I mean, come on. You can't make it up. He went to go see for himself his works. Let me go see what I did to Israel. Let me go see. And because other than that, he hasn't been back. And now he's removing resources, giving in to the woke radical left, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Presley, giving it to them. Fire Marshal Bowman, right? Giving in to them this woke agenda. And then Benjamin Netanyahu does this video. And the Biden White House is furious. They're saying that he's lying. Why in the world would he go on the world stage do a video about the United States of America, the only true ally that we have in the Middle East. Why would Benjamin, how does he benefit by saying that? If anything, if he was actually lying, he would be destroying relations. So, I mean, for them to come back and say, oh, Benjamin Netanyahu, he's not telling the truth, he's lying. Oh, this is, again, cheap fake video, disinformation. He doesn't benefit by telling the people in America that Joe Biden is turning his back on the one truly ally in that region of the world. He doesn't benefit from that.
Well, I'll tell you, the reason why Netanyahu is calling it out is that the Congress, in bipartisan fashion, the House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans are all saying, we've approved the weapons. You can't stop it. Biden promised not to stop it, and he did it. And he promised not to stop it again, and he did it. And Israel is desperate because they're running out of supplies to fight off Hezbollah, fight off the Houthis, fight off Hamas.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Joe Biden is sending more weapons to Ukraine to
Billions
use.
worth. Billions.
Yeah.
Billions.
To use offensively in Russia now.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what, Barry? I know some people have the reservations about Ukraine, but I'm sorry. Cut it all off. I'm sorry. Cut it off. Putin, if he's going to take Ukraine, then let him take it. Cut it off. This is ridiculous. It should have never been funding Ukraine in the first place. And now our true ally is asking for our help and they're turning the back on him. Cut it off. This hurts me to no end.
I don't think one has anything to do with the other. I think the restriction on the shipments is simply because Joe Biden cares more about winning Michigan, where all the Muslims are that Obama brought into the country. And if he loses Michigan, he loses the presidency. That's what
I think that's part. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think personally it's part of it. I think Ukraine is a money laundering scheme, not only for Democrats, but also for these rhino Republicans. Ukraine is for their globalist agenda. If Putin was actually going to go in and start trying to bomb European nations or NATO countries, why would he waste the resources on Ukraine? This is a whole shenanigan. We should have never been involved in the conflict in Ukraine in the first place. And the only reason why Putin even went into Ukraine to begin with, because he said, if you try to attempt to become part of NATO, you give me no choice. That's exactly what they did. Zelensky went ahead and did the paperwork for it to go be part of NATO. And now, again, they bring it up again. Joe Biden just did a 10-year deal with Ukraine, talking about we're going to fund you these weapons for the next 10 years, and we're sponsoring you to join NATO. They're taking us into World War III.